Alright, we are going to get started now. So, for those who are here, welcome. I'm very happy to have you. I hope you've had a lovely day, however long you've experienced it for. I don't know whether this one will be episode 1 or I did film a previous video. It doesn't have any background music, so it might be a little boring to listen to, but I'll learn and evolve as we go. Last time we were working on this piece and we're going to continue work on it for about 20 minutes, so if you're here, join in, hang out, feel free to draw on your own. And today I did have things to talk about, or at least I thought I did, but we can pick up where we left off, drawing this knight laying in a field of poppies. And we got about as far, we got through the first sketch, or what I like to do is the first sketch, and we started on what I like to call the pre-lineart or second sketch. So it's a layer that has a little bit more definition to it. There's more things, to stand out about the sketch itself, but it's less sketchy, if you know what I'm saying. So I just realized that this overcoat that I'm drawing does have a little bit of fur on it, at least at the top. It's at the very least not hemmed. I know I jumped right into drawing here, but that's what I want this to be about. It's just a place to hang out for 20 minutes or so and draw. So I don't really have a rhyme or reason specifically why I'm doing this. I want to go over a little bit about that in the first episode. So maybe I will post the first episode for context, but I just hope that anyone watching doesn't take it too seriously, and hopefully doesn't find the first one too boring. Yeah, so we're here, episode 2. We're finding out how exactly we want this line art to sit, and what exactly we want this knight to be wearing, how the shadows might sit and things like that. But I hope you're all having a lovely day wherever you are. I had a pretty good day. As you can see, like last time, I just got out of the shower and decided to film. So I have a feeling that's gonna be a trend. I'll get out of the shower and I'll be like, okay, I feel like filming now. But honestly, at the end of the day, it's whatever an individual is most comfortable with. It's whatever they want to just hang out and do. And today I feel like hanging out and doing this. So I had a pretty good day today. There wasn't too much going on, but my work is gearing up for our yearly audit. It's not anything, out of the ordinary. I know if you may be watching, you're like, oh crap, company getting audited. It's not anything like that. It's a yearly audit. Very, very normal for us to prepare for, but it is only done once a year, so there are certain activities that we need to do to prepare for it. And part of that really comes down to how we present ourselves and the documentation. So for reference, I am a quality engineer, so I do a lot of paperwork, and I know there are a lot of people out there who do not find paperwork interesting at all. But not all of what I do is paperwork, to be perfectly fair. It's just happens to be a lot of what I do. I write a lot of reports, deal with a lot of paperwork, Um, and yeah, make sure documentation for our production is, done properly. It looks like, so I am looking at a kind of a reference image of like Dark Souls Knight right now, and let me turn down the music a little bit. Hopefully it hasn't been too horribly loud this entire time. But I am looking at a reference image of a like I said, a knight from a Soulsborne game. So I really do love the grungy aesthetic of Soulsborne games. At the end of the day, I do find them really interesting. I do play video games, but I play them a lot for the lore. So like all of the Lord of Cinders things. Probably my favorite Soulsborne game is Bloodborne. I just find it so interesting. I don't know why this isn't picking up. There we go. It's hard to find a balance for the music, I would say, because I want it loud enough that you all are going to be able to hear it if you listen back. So the times when I'm talking aren't just this empty silence, but it is loud enough that there's something to listen to. There's not loud enough to potentially drown me out, because being vain and selfish means that I want you to make sure that you listen to my voice above all other things. But I want for the times that I do fall silent, there to be something in that space, because I know it's going to happen. I am not a very I'm not very good at talking while I'm drawing, so that's something that I am definitely learning. So I might actually be drawing this wrong. This might actually have to come more of an angle down here. So it comes more along their torso and then down. More like in here. Yeah, that seems maybe not that harsh, but that seems more correct. So that's the purpose of my like second sketch. The first sketch is to get an idea of how I generally want to present the thing that I want to draw, and then the second sketch that I do more irons out like the body of the clothes themselves, but it isn't super, maybe not still super clear. So I actually have a third, like, I go around a third time. You can see this is pretty bold up here. That'll go away once I go around a third time. I do recognize that my little drawing mouse is pretty small, but yeah. Right now, this over cover is pretty furry at the edges, so I'm trying to represent that while also recognizing that it has a shadow here that I do want to make sure I'm taking a look at and acknowledging. So I'll sketch in something like that. And then this here seems to be the band holding it tied around this character's neck. This is probably a pretty generic knight, to be honest. There's nothing super special about them in terms of, like, they don't have any super special insignias or anything like that, but it is going to let me practice drawing armor, which is something I'm honestly not very good at. Now, in this sketch originally, I did draw the character's fingers, the hands, quite large, if I'm being perfectly honest. And I do like that the character's hands are large, but they're a little bit too big, in my opinion. let's see, are they righty or lefty? So they're laying down. I'm a righty, so I'll have my right thumb on top. I guess this guy's gonna be a lefty. His left thumb's gonna be on top. But yeah, the other thumb would come around like this. And even if the hands are like a little bit big, that's okay. I can obviously kind of, cheese it. It's digital art. So I can always just go in with the lasso tool, select it, and then like adjust it, especially because this is not like true line art. I haven't done any, well, it is a type of line art, I suppose, but I haven't done any art, like I haven't done any color yet. I haven't done any, like building upon like shadows or anything. So let's see, thumb, pointer, middle, ring. Yeah, these hands are far too big. I think I also made his thumb here a little too small, if that's how big the rest of his hand is. So pointer, middle, ring. And I mean, as you go down, the pinkies and stuff are going to be hidden, but they're not going to be hidden like that much. Like, you're still going to be able to like see them. So I do see that in the sketch in the original sketch, I made the hands far too big. So let me cheese it a little bit and use the lasso tool here. I am pretty happy with this shape, actually. Normally it takes me a few goes or go-rounds to get happy with the shapes of the hands. I know hands can be a sticking point for a lot of artists. But I do enjoy drawing them. There was a point in time where pretty much everything I drew was hands. See, yeah, like the hands should have been a lot smaller. Just anatomically, or whatever the word is. To make physical sense, they would need to be a lot smaller. So we're going to continue on, but continuing what I was just saying, there was a period of time where pretty much the only thing I was drawing was hands, mainly my hands, in different positions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, little, very clenched like this. I'm not sure why like hand anatomy called out to me among all of the other anatomies, but I ended up really enjoying drawing hands, almost to the exclusion of, like, unfortunately, all other parts of anatomy. And it wasn't until I was in later high school that I started focusing more on like the general body shape, like body plan itself, which is partly why like these arms don't make any sense at all, actually. But angled like this, his arm should come a little bit more. Actually, it should be angled a little bit up. The arm should almost be shifted like this way. So I'm going to cheat a little bit again with the lasso tool. It should be adjusted like a little bit more like that. There we go. And probably squish it a little bit. But yeah, there was a period of time, like I was saying, where I drew hands to the exclusion of all else. I really do love drawing hands. I find them very interesting. Sometimes Krita doesn't want to... Let me just save real quick while I'm thinking of it. I also have a bad habit of not saving my art and then realizing it like an hour into drawing when my laptop, although new, definitely could have crashed and I could have, lost everything. Especially because a lot of people have told me that I draw pretty fast. The artwork that I put together, I do put together, according to them, pretty fast. I personally, I think it's my impatience. I think I'm pretty impatient when it comes to my artwork, which is partly why I wanted to do this. forcing myself to draw in 20-minute increments, and then just, stopping, gives me time to come back and, look at the piece and, did not mean to do that. Yeah, I was the last two again. It's my crutch, to be perfectly honest, with anatomy. I'd like to get away from it at some point, but this piece is not that piece. It will not be the piece to make me correct all of my anatomical issues. It's still kind of like fucked up. There we go. That's a little better. So yeah, I'm just this check-in, this like daily 20-minute force draw will, I'm hoping, force me to, take a step back and really see what I'm drawing, spend some more time on it, appreciating what like I've made come to life in 20-minute increments. And I think that I will grow and develop as an artist much faster if I take my time, which is perhaps counterintuitive, but I don't feel like I take enough time, like I slow down enough with my art, especially like traditional art. My main medium is acrylic. I grew up using acrylic and colored pencil, two mediums where if you do it right, you don't really have to wait for anything to dry. Watercolor, you do have to wait a little bit, especially if you want to get like good layering in. I've always felt like I was not good at watercolor. It never really called out to me, so I never really, called out to it, however you want to term the phrase. And so I stuck with acrylic. I've only done oil very few times, but I did really like working with it. I loved how oil colors blend together, which is why colored pencils like Prismacolor, which give heavy oil vibes, especially like oil pastels, but I don't enjoy working with pastels. I think it's a sensory issue. But why I really like working with, Prismacolor or oil in general. I do love how it looks. I love how colors blend. When I was working with oils, I didn't even have the right medium, whatever it's called, where you need to add like an additional oil so that things blend together, right? I didn't even have that. So yes, I use more oil like paints, but in the long run, I felt like it was still like really fun to work with. I'm very proud of like that piece that I painted in general. It was literally just of a jellyfish, but I was very happy with it. I'm not very happy with his belts, so I might come back later and fix those. But I never really have worked with a medium that I need to sit down and feel out. So my impatience kind of let me get away from those, I guess those, this should be more like tucked under him, I feel like. Get away from those natural artist inclinations of like perfection, because my impatience outweighed any fear of imperfection that I could have. And I guess that's something to like take away today as we're rounding out 20 minutes ish. It's definitely okay. It's okay not to be perfect. It's easy to see where perfectionism comes from, especially just on a day-to-day. But I also feel like not taking the time and seeing where you could improve without just, like guilt tripping yourself or looking specifically for any issues you could have. That's not what I mean. I mean more like taking the time to hone your craft, to really see what you could do with it. Um, there has to be a balance between that and any perfectionism. Because at the end of the day, I draw because it truly, truly, truly makes me happy. Uh, I I don't draw for perfectionism. Sometimes I draw for the for the validation of others. Um, I I love when people tell me that I do a good job. I'm sure there are other people out there who feel the same way. Um, and I'm here to tell you before I sign off tonight that you are doing a good job. You are. And nothing in the world is going to change the fact that you're trying and you are doing a good job just by trying. So with that, I know we really didn't make too much more progress, but we have started to, mark out some things. Taking it slow but steady means that we get more time to understand, anatomy, how we want the character to sit, and things like that. And obviously, I'm yapping my mouth, so that's going to change some things too. But thank you for tuning in, for listening. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or night. And if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.